Hey guys, so you're wanting to get into overlanding and you don't know what you're going to need to pack with you. We're going to go over 4 or 5 different things here for the bare bone basics to help you get started. The biggest thing in the beginning is to kind of have a plan on what you're going to do or what you're going to cook while you're out. Because obviously the basics, you need to have food, you have to have shelter, and you've got to have water. So those are the 3 cores that you have to have. Obviously water is easy enough. You can get jugs. I'll show you one of those here in a minute. Second is being able to cook your food and make sure it's safe to eat. So that's where, are you going to cook over a fire? Or are you going to take a grill or a stove? That's the kind of things you kind of got to plan out ahead of time, because as you progress, as you do this more, that's going to change because your needs are going to change. But so here, let's jump into the basics real quick, and then let's walk over and what you're going to need and kind of walk you through the basics. Okay, guys, so congratulations, man. I'm excited for you. You're wanting to get outdoors. You're wanting to go camping. Here's a couple of things here that you need to think through. One is how you're going to fix your food. I mean, obviously, it's not safe to eat raw meats or nothing like that, so you really need to try to cook your food. Are you going to do primarily, you're going to cook over a fire? You going to do like roast hot dogs over it, or try to actually cook on the stove over a grate, kind of like what I have set up here? Obviously, this is a gas stove. If you're planning on cooking with fire, something you really need to look at, especially when going to state parks, is there a burn ban? Has it been really dry? You need to think that through, because we don't want to be responsible for burning half a forest down. So that's key number 1. That's something to really think about. 2, how are you going to fix it? Okay, guys, this is bare basics. This is as old school as it gets without being one of the old pump white gas ones. So I'm probably showing my age now, because some of you might not even know what the white gas is. Look it up if you want to learn more about it. But this is still readily available. You can buy them wherever. This is a handy stove. This particular stove right here, I've had and used for, I'm guessing, probably 20 or more years. So it's been a really good stove. Is it really big? It's really hot? No, it's not, but it has served my family well. And these aren't relatively expensive. Let me show you how quick this sets up. So I mean, obviously I've got this Jeep here set up for overlanding and cooking, but once you get your tent set up and whatever, this is how fast you can set this up. Literally flip a switch, flip this up. These are your windshields or your wind guards. Those will slide into little slots here on the side. From there, you'll take your propane regulator, which stores inside of it, which is convenient. Hooks right here. Thread it in. I hate to know how many times this thing has been hooked up and disconnected. Hundreds, probably.
Hundreds.
I mean, we've used this with scouting. We've used it with all the wheeling, off-roading. Hook up your tank. There is one drawback about this type of a stove versus some of the newer ones I'll get into here in a minute. Is this one here is you're going to have a way to light it, because these typically don't come as a self-igniter. So remember, you're going to have to bring a lighter or a way to light this up. But you guys want to see it work? This right here, this is ready to go. That's how long it took, and that's actually me talking to you how quick is we can get this stuff set up. It's going to take you longer to do your meal prep than it is to get this set up and start cooking. But this right here all around is a very good stove. I like the fact that it has the wind guard, so it's protected on 3 sides. It's relatively compact, and it stows away really easy. So let me break this down for you real quick. I mean, granted, you don't have to have a setup like I've got here, but if you're just using totes or your car or what have you, it folds down really small. So fold these up. Okay, this is broke down, and this is as big as it is. Very slim, very compact. You can push this about anywhere. Like, you can put it in the side here. You can put it wherever in your car. That's one good advantage of this here. But if you're even more size conscious and you don't have as much room, so you say you're camping or on an excursion in a smaller vehicle, SUV, car, what have you, I've got another option here. That's a really good cheap alternative to some of the more higher end stoves on the market. So let me show you what we're talking about. Man, I think we could have picked a little bit cooler of a day there, babe.
Well, I think so.
All right, well, for those of you that are a little more size conscious, you want looking for something a little more compact, we've got a really good option for you. Again, let's kind of touch on the basics here. Are you going to cook over open fire, or like a gas grill, gas fire pit like I showed you first? Or you want to try to use more of a traditional like 2-burner type stove? But if you're looking for something a little more smaller, more compact, there is actually an inexpensive option right now that just hit the market this year. We're shooting this summer 2025. If you do much research at all into overlanding, cooking, or camping, or car camping, you know, you're gonna hear about Jetboil. It's very, very popular in the hiking world, but you know, it's very popular in this world as well, as far as car camping and overlanding and camping in general. They make great products, so please don't take that wrong. I mean, they make really good stuff, but daggone, they're expensive. And for someone who's just wanting to start getting into this, and they're not sure they want to fully commit and really put that kind of investment out, here's a really good option for you that just hit the market this year. It's called Kofi Yard. It's a less expensive version of it, and it's not really of it, but it's very similar to it. And it's got some bells and whistles on that I really like. This is primarily all we're using now when we go out, because we're taking so much gear with us that we need to pack as light and as small as we can. So here, let me show you this real quick. So this is a Kofi Yard. This right here is as big as the stove is, but don't let that small bag fool you, because it has a big punch. So let me get this out and set up for you. Okay, similar regulator as the Coleman, old tried and true over there that we've been using for at least 20 years. At least 20 years, possibly longer. I'm trying to remember when we actually bought that thing. Okay, literally this thing folds out. Again, this threads on just like it does. Okay, and then basically you grab a propane tank here, same deal, except this has got one nice feature that one doesn't. This has a self-igniter for both burners. Let me grab a propane tank real quick for you, and I will show you about that. We're new to this whole YouTube stuff. We've been camping and overlanding for since the early 90s. So we've been doing this a really, really long time. It's just, you know, I'm not used to this video stuff. But anyways, long story short, okay, this right here has self-igniters, which is absolutely outstanding. And also, you can cook as big of a stove, big of a pot on this as you want. This actually has more BTUs than the Coleman does. And this right here is what's really nice. Turn that thing on, bam. So all I gotta do is light it. It's already lit. You can get a big skillet on there if you want to use a cast iron. If you want to use smaller stainless stuff, if you're doing MREs, you know, it's great. You can pack you a cooler, percolator, pot, or whatever you need to boil water in. This thing is going to boil it really quick. This is a lot faster than a Coleman because of higher BTU, and it's in a lot smaller package. You can see this doesn't take up hardly any room, which is critical when we're talking about car camping, overlanding, and camping in general now.
And there is one upgrade that we did where we hook it to the bigger tanks.
Absolutely. If you're going to do a lot of cooking and you're doing a lot of camping,
we do.
Ignic, yeah, we do a lot. Ignic makes a really good option. It's a 5-gallon, it's a 5-pound propane tank. Let me kind of get it out of here for you, and I'll show you. We have a hose here that's hooked up to a 5-pound tank. That way we can cook as much as we want. We can use this for multiple items. We want to use it for the fire pit. We want to use it to cook our stove. We want to use it here, or we want to use it for something else. This gives us the option. And it stows away in its own little bag. And it's literally a 5-pound propane tank. It's just like the 20-pounders. It's made by Ignic. These things here are really handy. You know, I didn't think I'd like them until I bought them, but man, these things are well worth the money. You know, you don't have those little 1-pound tanks you're constantly throwing away. You can take this to any Ace Hardware or local provider to have this thing refilled, and it's a fraction of the cost of the propane that you're going to use for the 1-pounders. But again, that's for those that are going to do a lot of camping and a lot of cooking. I'm just kind of getting this out for in a minute, guys. While I'm there, like I said, if you want to see how we got our stuff set out and our rigs spec'd out, just let me know. But like I said, this thing out here is great. Skillets, large skillets, small skillets, pots, pans. Boiling water. I mean, we can cook a meal here for 3 or 4 people easily on this one little stove. So don't let the size of it, you know, scare you off or make you reserve and you think you need this big monstrosity like this bad boy here. Okay.
Speaking of the bad boy.
Speaking of the bad boy. My wife, which is behind the camera right now because we're kind of having a hard time shooting this. It's just the 2 of us. And we're kind of having a hard time shooting this and being able to do this. So she's chiming in as she needs to. But this right here is the big one that we take out if we're going to set up base camp. If we're going to be, you know, out for 3 or 4 days at the same place. This is typical what we'll take. If we want to go for a weekend of tractor pulls, we're planning on camping out for the weekend, or whatever big event we're doing and we're going to stay for a while. This thing here is awesome. We love it. It's made by Camp Chef. It's a 2-burner. The burners are the size of coffee cans. I mean, they're huge. That's a lot of BTUs. Again, you can hook it on, you can run this on 1-pound propane tanks, or you can run on a 5-pound or a 20-pound. You just have to have the adapter and a hose. And this thing has a working oven with a thermostat. So if we want to bake, you can see we keep it set up where we're ready to go. Christy makes these low-carb pizza or cheese bread things with it. There's no bread in it. It makes cheese. We make it at camp. It's a hit. Don't matter if it's just, you may do pizza, and you pizza rolls. As long as you have a way to keep your stuff cold and keep it from going bad. We'll get into that here in a second as well. But this thing here is great. The nice thing about this level and this caliber of a stove is they're self-igniters. So when you go to turn this on, you know, you hear it clicking. They ignite themselves. I don't know if you can see the flame or not, but it's running on a 1-pound tank. It's ignited, and it's literally that big. The oven's the same way. You know, there's a pilot in there. You set the temperature. This isn't a set it, for those who do like cook in a house, this isn't a set it and forget it stove. So this is one that you're going to have to kind of manually keep an eye on and regulate the temperature. If you want to hold it at 350 or 400 degrees, whatever you're baking, you're going to have to kind of manually control it as needed. It holds temperature really well. I am highly impressed. I think Christy is too. What's your thoughts on this one?
I love it. It's just not convenient when you're overlanding.
It's just very big and bulky. But if, like I said, you're there for a few days and you're cooking for a lot of people, this thing is outstanding. You can get them with the griddle. This right here easily goes on top. And you can get these griddles. You can use, like we can use this one griddle for the smaller Kofi. We can also use it for the Coleman. So you can set these up pretty much however you need to be able to cook for you and your family. If it's just you as an individual, it's a lot easier than if you're cooking for 2 or 3 people. But now that we're empty nesters, you know, it's just my wife and I now. So it's actually been an adjustment.
A big adjustment cooking for 2.
For downsizing and cooking for 2. So it's been more of an adjustment than I thought was going to need. But it's great though. We're enjoying it. And we're proud of our kids. We're glad that they started a chapter of their lives, and we're proud of them. But now that we've talked about stoves and what you're going to use to cook, now let's talk about what you're going to use to cook with. So let's jump into that section of it. I'm going to actually jump behind the camera here for a little bit, and I'm going to let Christy be the center of attention for a little bit. So,
are we sure about that?
Hey, you signed up for this too. So here we go. All right, everybody, this is my beautiful wife, Christy. She's the one normally behind the camera and stuff, and I'm doing the videos as you've seen so far. So I'm gonna turn this over to her and let her talk about what we use when we're out and about to cook and clean and all the stuff at the campsite and campground.
Hey guys, not used to being on this side of the camera, so I'm gonna admit I'm a little nervous, but I do have some favorite items, not necessarily must-haves, but the things that we've worked through the years to find out what really works for us. Obviously, Chad's already talked about the little 2-burner stove here that we use. The other thing that we really like is this table. It's very versatile. When we are out in the Gladiator, we don't have a lot of table space, just the tailgate, but it's not very convenient because you're getting in and out of things and so on and so forth. So we found this table and we really like it. It's got plenty of workspace. There's also an area here where we can use water and put our water and use it for a sink. And then it's got a drain plug so you can drain the water out. That's really convenient for washing dishes. If you haven't guessed, we do cook a lot when we are overlanding, camping, or whatever.
We eat well.
We do eat very well, which has been a whole challenge in itself, being empty nesters, cooking for 2 instead of 4 or 5. And also recently just getting more into a better menu for ourselves and not necessarily just the quick meals that you'll see a lot of people talk about. And, you know, maybe that'll be another video down the road.
Absolutely.
So anyway, the camp table is great for us. It's got this nice little lantern. It telescopes up. We just hang this one on here. It seems to be plenty for us, even when we're camping in the middle of the woods with no lights.
Puts off a lot of light.
And it's really convenient to have that hanging there so you can kind of see what you're doing. So we have the table, we have the stove. Chad has to have his coffee in the morning. I do too, but we found this, percolator. We like it. It's a little bit bigger than the average one.
It's 10 cup.
But it works perfect with this little 2-burner thing. You can make coffee in just a few minutes in the morning. The one thing that I splurged on, and this is a splurge for sure, is
But it's a very good splurge.
Is this kit by Gerber. It's got this nice little carry bag. It's very compact, but there's so many things in here. You actually are surprised at how well they all fit in. And we use this every time we camp. It has a nice skillet. Like I said, it's got the nice bag there. It has 2 different lids for the pots. One for the pot, one for the skillet. It has a handle that you can use on your skillet.
And everything's compact.
Yeah, it is very compact for the amount of stuff that you have. So there you can see you've got a nice stainless steel skillet. We try not to use nonstick dishes. So the skillet and the cast iron skillets are the ones that we are our go-to type of cooking ware. But inside you also have 4 bowls. And I have come to love these bowls because they fit very nicely in your hand. A lot of the meals that we fix are their bowls, like a veggie bowl or a steak and veggie bowl. I make a tostada meal that's really good.
Really good.
You also have a bigger bowl, which is great for food prep, or just sometimes I'll put some water in there and just kind of rinse my dishes with this if I don't have a lot.
Salad.
Yeah, we make salads and put them in here. And these are your plates. So it comes with 4 plates as well. Granted, there's just the 2 of us, but I keep the kit together, obviously. So you have your 4 bowls, or 4 plates, I'm sorry. But the nice thing about these is you can also use one as a lid on your big bowl to keep your bugs out while you're doing the rest of your food prep.
That's experience talking out there.
And
that was a bad night.
Yeah. And then you've got your big stock pot, boil pot. Again, I use this to boil water in for washing my dishes so I can have good hot water. We don't eat a lot of pasta or rice and things like that. So, but if you did a pasta meal, that'd be great for boiling your water and making your pasta as well.
Stew.
Any kind of stew that you have. If you're doing MREs, and you didn't have something like this to boil your water in, you could certainly do that as well. Mm-hmm. But then again, everything just goes right down back inside.
And if you forget how it goes.
Oh, yes. And on the inside of the bag,
there's instructions.
You have your instructions that show you exactly which pieces nest into other pieces. So that's very helpful. We've used it enough now. I don't need that. But the first few times I did refer to the instructions to make sure that I was getting everything in there right. Again, your handle pops right off. Fits right down in with the rest of this stuff. Like I said, you have a taller lid. You have a flat lid.
And this is plenty enough cookware that you can literally fix enough food for a family of 4 with no problems.
Yeah, easily. Even I would say you could probably get 5 or 6 people fed with just this one little small set here.
Depends on how hungry they are.
Yeah, it depends on how long you've been on the trail and how hungry you get by the time you get there. But all right, so we went over some of the basics, our splurge here. Obviously, the only thing you really need is some kind of pot or pan, something maybe to boil water in, depending on what kind of cooking you're doing. If you're just cooking hamburgers and hot dogs over, great. You don't need this, but this is our splurge. So that was just some of the main things that we have found that we like and work well for us. Obviously, I did mention it before, but you need some way to pour your water around. They make tons and tons of different water jugs. We have some narrow ones. We found that they weren't our favorite. They fell over a lot. So we went with this style instead. But,
a lot more stable.
For a long time, we just used 1-gallon jugs. We just ported those around. So you just have to plan ahead, make sure you have your water, ways to cook your food, and the utensils that you do. As you do this more and more, you'll find things that you like and don't like, and eventually upgrade things. And that's what we've done. We've done this for a long time, a few years.
It's a moving target.
It always changes. The other thing that you need is when you're actually cooking, you know, you need your pots and pans, but you need some kind of utensils and things like that as well. You need something to eat your food with, whether that's plastic forks and knives, or if you want to be a little bit more environmentally friendly and less wasteful. I found these little things on Amazon. They're great. It comes with a fork, little butter knife, a spoon, chopsticks. I will never use the chopsticks for what they're intended for anyway.
Come on.
I like to eat my food more than one piece at a time. And the nice thing about these, they do come in this little zipper pouch. So once you've washed them and dried them, they go in, they stay clean, no matter where you throw them in your vehicle.
Dust in the back of the truck or not.
Yes, they stay nice and clean and tidy for you there.
And compact.
So I just, you know, we bought one for each of us. And again, they're on Amazon. They weren't that expensive.
We'll post the links of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, you can post some links for them
Absolutely.
to be able to look at those. The other thing, now again, this is not a must-have as far as how you store your gear. You can use a tote, you can use bags. We did those for years. These were just recent upgrades that we found that we really like how well it organizes our stuff. But there are some things in here that are really nice to have when you're camping. And I would say probably close to a must-have.
Close to?
Yeah. So obviously, depending on how you cook, you don't want bland food. So we kind of set this up to be our condiments and seasonings. So you'll see this is our favorite seasoning. And no, I am not sponsored by Kinder's in any way, shape, or form.
Everything you see here, we've bought with our money.
But this is the absolute best product that we have found that we like, that's versatile. It goes on anything. So I always keep a Kinder's in our gear.
It's like Frank's Red Hot.
Yes, that goes on everything. Obviously, you know, we've got salt and pepper in our must-have coffee, along with our sweeteners, you know, condiments. For ease of use and to save room in our cooler or our refrigerator, we opted to just get packets of mustard and mayonnaise and ketchup. That way we don't have to worry about putting the big bottles and things in the refrigerator. Again, you don't have to do it that way. That's just what works for us. I still have plenty of room in here to add other condiments if I wanted.
Longer trips.
Or other, yeah, you know, different things that we might need. Obviously, we always carry some kind of bags with us. We have our coffee filters and stuff in here too. And Ziploc bags. Always take some Ziploc bags with you. It's kind of like toilet paper and paper towels.
Especially if you're using a traditional cooler.
You're going to want those for something. Even if you
Leftovers.
You don't think you're going to need them, you're probably going to need them. The other side of this pack out, so this was the one that we used for condiments and things. But this up here, if Chad wants to come in a little closer, has these great dividers. And obviously when you cook, you're going to need utensils. We did not buy anything fancy. We just took some cheap knives that we had at the house and, you know, can opener, different things that we would need based on what we were cooking. Obviously, some kind of mitt or pot holders so you don't burn your hands up. And obviously, the other thing is, you know, you've got your
basic utensils.
Spatulas. I just went to the dollar store, guys. I paid $1 for some wooden spoons and spatulas. It doesn't have to be expensive or fancy.
If they get runt, no loss.
Yep. If I forget them or I can't clean them, I can just throw them away and I'm not brokenhearted over it. We try to keep a few extra lighters with us. You just never know when you want to light your stove or you're lighting a fire and you need that. Obviously, some cleaning cloths and dish things are in there. I keep a cutting board. If you are doing over a fire, like hot dogs or marshmallows, you know, if you're making some s'mores, you know, you can buy some cheap. Again, I think I bought these at the dollar store. So just some kind of skewer or something. They make some nice heavier ones that you can use for hot dogs though. But I've got a cutting board in here. We do usually carry a few MREs with us just for those nights that are really, really late and you're not going to want to dig everything out and make a big meal. You just boil some water, throw it in there.
And there's a lot of different manufacturers and flavors of the
Yes.
dehydrated meals and MREs.
Yeah, so you can find something that's maybe not the best because it's not fresh, but it's edible and you can survive on it for a few days. This up here is just kind of open. Chad put some of his batteries in here and things like that, just so that they're easily accessible. And we have our dog food up here because our dog goes on our adventures as well.
Absolutely.
We
and
do,
a water pump.
We do have a water pump, yep. We haven't used it with the blue one yet, but it works really well with the narrower water tubs, whatever they're called. What are they called, Chad?
Water jugs.
Water jugs. But we haven't tried it on the blue one yet. We haven't needed it. So, but that's a nice little feature, so you're not lifting it up and trying to pour water out all the time.
And it's USB chargeable.
Yes, good point. USB chargeable. The nice
No
thing,
batteries.
The nice thing about this Packout, Chad's got it all fixed down here so that it doesn't move. But even though I'm a little on the short side, I can snap it right back into place all by myself, which makes me happy.
And we don't have to worry about it falling or flopping around. I mean, you don't have to have this stuff, guys. This is just splurges.
This is just, yeah, some of these things are splurges. Obviously, some things you do need, like I said, toilet paper.
Nature calls.
I usually keep some soap because you're going to wash your dishes unless you're
hands.
just cooking on the thing. For our hands, sometimes we use soap and water. Sometimes we use baby wipes. It just depends. Chad's even got some more heavy-duty industrial wipes in case he has to work on the Jeep because, you know, it is a Jeep. But this is usually where we keep some of our pantry items, canned goods and things that we might be using later.
But you guys can use totes for what we're showing here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done that before. And then I do keep an extra tub to wash our dishes in. So I'll use one to wash, one to rinse. And you can see it opens up. It's got a nice little drain plug in there. And then it folds down pretty flat.
So between this one and the one building the table, we can do one for wash water. We can do one for rinse water.
And if you're really desperate, you could use this for a cutting board.
Absolutely.
Been there, done that. So those are just a few of the cooking items that we use on a regular basis. Like I said, not everything. You don't have to have everything there, but they come in handy. Obviously, if you're cooking, you need those utensils. Go to the dollar store, buy the wooden ones. They hold up really good, and you're not broken if you lose one or you can't get it clean or you decide you just don't want to try and you throw it away. It's not a big deal. Yep. So those are just a few of the cooking pieces that we've acquired over the years.
All right, so now let's jump into refrigerators and way to keep our food.
Some coolers, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you kind of see where we're at now with some of our storage stuff. I want to show you some easier stuff here that kind of where we started from and progressed into. And keep in mind, guys, these are very inexpensive. You know, these little totes here, you can buy them on Amazon. You can catch them at Costco, several different places. Like so again, so guys, most of the stuff you're seeing here, we'll have links in the description below to where you guys can find this stuff. And if you want to buy this to get started with. But these things are awesome. These little ammo cans are plastic. They're dishwasher safe. I mean, you can wash them. I don't know if the dishwasher safe. We just hand wash them if we need them, but they're great. You get a label maker, put what's on it, so it's easy, so you know exactly what's what. This one here, obviously, is bug spray. As you can see, we still use this Jeep, so we still got some of our gear on it. You know, off and sunscreen and spare lighters. So this is a great option for storage.
And you screwed that down to the platform.
And
so
this is, yeah, this is screwed down. So, but you can use straps. You can just set this in the floor if you need to. So there's holes in it where you can put bungees across it. So that's a great cheap alternative to make sure that you can keep stuff organized and clean. So if you have if you're in a truck, you have the whole stuff piled in the bed of your truck. Dust is a major concern. Rain is a major concern if you get caught in a storm. This is a great way to keep your stuff dry, safe, and clean.
Next.
Let's talk about cooling and coolers and keeping your food fresh. All right, guys, I mean, you don't have to start with anything fancy. I mean, basic cooler, something that's obviously got to be able to hold ice or dry ice. Dry ice is a really good option if you have it available to you because you don't have to worry about the water. The Ziploc bags that you talked about earlier, here's a pro tip. You put your meats and what stuff like cheeses or whatever you're going to take in a Ziploc bag. if you're using ice, the water won't get in and you won't cross-contaminate. So use your Ziploc bags for stuff like that. But basic cooler, you need something to keep it cold. Bug spray when you're and just get it set out. You know, can opener, bottle opener, whatever you may need, but it's a basic cooler. If that's not enough for you, if you got 2 or 3 people, I mean, you can get a larger one like this one here. I've had this one forever. I mean, as you can see, this thing's been beating around all over the country with us. We started going on longer trips and like multi 2, 3, 4, 5 day trips. And we needed something a little more efficient where we didn't have to worry about constantly finding ice and filling it up. That's where a 12-volt refrigerator, not a cooler. I want to let you guys know that this is a tip that I wish I'd have known back in the day that, you know, I didn't, because they make 12-volt coolers, which will only cool like 15 or 18 degrees or 20 degrees below ambient temperature. So if it's 90, you're going to be 70 degrees inside the cooler. So it's not optimal for this type of stuff. I'm talking about actually a 12-volt refrigerator. Their prices range from a couple $100 all the way to $1,000. So I mean, they range all over. So, but you don't have to have the top of the line to start with. This is one of the cheaper ones. I've been actually testing this one here for a couple years now. This is a Ehoy, or however you pronounce it. I'll put the descriptions and a link in the descriptions below. But I made this the pull out here. Again, this ain't something you want to have. That's what I want to show you. The nice thing about this is you can see here, I can adjust the temperature to whatever we want. I can use this as a freezer if I want to keep meats in here, and I want to use an extra cooler for like our drinks or water, mustard, or something like that if we take it. That way this here can be just like vegetables, meat, or hell, you can take ice cream with you if you want. You know, you're not only limited to what you want to take and how many you're cooking for. But these are great. But this right here, I think from just a minute ago, from 90 degrees, that was showing on the thermostat, down to 37 degrees, it took 6 minutes to go from 90 to 37. And that's where I had it set at. So it's kicking on and off and maintaining. So these are great.
Keep in mind, it is hot today, guys. It's
yeah,
in the mid-90s.
Guys, it's mid-90s with the heat index. I think earlier it was 105 or 104-ish, something like that. It's hot. Speaking of that, where I've got a truck and a camper shell now, you've seen the other Jeep here, I've got a slide built to where this goes in the back of the Jeep. There's air conditioning in there, so this thing didn't have to work as hard. If you want to use a truck, these covers right here are great. They make them for all the manufacturers. I think I offer them now for the coolers. But this right here helps these things run more efficient and takes less load on the battery. But they're simple. They have extra storage here for condiments, whatever else you need to store, so you can be more organized in your back. If you guys notice, we like to be organized. This one here, it opens up. It actually has a rack out. Another pro tip, keep you a piece of some paper towels in there, because when you're not using it, put that in between. There's an air gap. It'll allow this to dry out and it won't mold or mildew. So we do that on our camp refrigerator too. Absolutely. But so it's got a rack here. You can get a lot of food in here, and that's not everything. It has this container here, this section here as well. So like we'll put water and different things up here. That doesn't have to be real cold, but it gets cold. So, and it has a built-in LED light, and this thing is nice. It is eHomy, EUHOMY. That's the brand of this. I make it for several different ones, but we've been using this for about 2 or 3 years now. Yep. And it's been a great one. You know, we can put frozen steaks or pork chops in there, and 2 or 3 days later have to actually lay them out so that they will finish thawing, because it will maintain that temperature very well. Yeah, I mean that's one big thing is that right there will, if you have the temperature set too low, it will stay frozen, which is good, especially if you're on long excursions, longer camps. So like you're out for a week or two out west, you know, stuff like this is worth its weight in gold. If and when you guys get there, this is more of a basic 101, but we're just showing different options for you guys to let you know that you don't have to have the best of the best to be able to start overlanding, camping, and car camping. Start with a cooler. Start with a cooler. Start cooking over the fire if you want to. I mean, like she said, you use the hot dog skewers to cook over a fire. The biggest thing is, guys, is plan ahead. knowing what you're going to be cooking the weekend and how many you're going to be cooking for is going to determine what gear and how size of gear that you're going to need. And that is one big thing that I wish I really knew when I first got started in this, because it's really easy to get lost in the details. There's a lot of people saying you have to have this, you have to have that. Again, it comes back to 3 basic principles. You have to have food, you have to have water, you have to have shelter. Those 3 things are the basics. The shelter part of it is something we really didn't talk into. I have other videos for different tents if you want to check those out. But this truck here, I've got a rooftop tent on. It gets us up off the ground. Don't have to worry about critters, but that's more of our preference. But we use a ground tent when we're in the red Jeep here, the red Cherokee. We have a Coleman Insta cabin. It sets up in 5 minutes. It tears down just as fast.
Super easy.
Super easy. It's 4 seasons. You can put a diesel heater in it. You can put a little Coleman heater in it, like a buddy heater. It keeps it warm as toast in it. I mean, it's an awesome tent. You don't have to have bigger than the $300, $400, $500 tent to get started. You just have to have a way. And if you like hammocks, the hammock tents, the Hennessy hammocks are a great option. As long as you're in wooded areas, type 22 trees, and you're set up. You can take this as far as you guys want to go. You can get as involved as this. You can buy as much gear as you want, but really it comes down to the 3 basics.
Well, and things will change over years, just like it has for us. Yep. We had a full family, then we camped and we wheeled with 4-wheelers.
Sports come along.
Not just Jeeps and things like that. We used to do dirt bikes and 4-wheelers. So obviously you can't take your gear with you, and things were a lot more basic. And then we, eventually got into the Jeeps, and the kids rode with us in the Jeeps, and our son and daughter both wheeled with us for a while too. Mm-hmm. But now we're empty nesters, and it's looking a whole lot different for us. So it's going to evolve for you as well, not just for us. So don't be afraid to try new things, because you'll have a blast.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great family sport. If you get hooked up with a really good off-road club or an organization that's into off-roading and that's into wheeling or overlanding, that's a good way to start. If you're in Ohio area, Ohio River 4-Wheelers is a great organization. We're on Facebook. You can look that up. But get involved, and you're gonna get with people like us or similar to us who has a lot of experience, and kind of point you in the right directions. Or if you guys have any questions, man, just put them down in the comments. Obviously,
we'd love to go wheeling with you.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Let us know. Is there type of gear that you're interested in? If we're familiar with it, we'll post about it. That's going to help us help you guys. We're trying to start this new channel. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I've been wheeling, since the late 80s. I'm showing my age, and of course my beard's showing that too, but that's fine. When we're empty nesters, we're not 16 no more, and that's okay. We're enjoying this next season of life. It's exciting. It's my wife and I again, and we're look forward to taking these big trips, and we're kind of hoping we can take you guys along with us and kind of show you what we do. And if you're interested, you might get inspiration to come out and do this too. And my biggest thing and still is preserving this sport and this outdoor life for future generations to come. That's why I'm a really, real big proponent of families. We'll get another videos and stuff for the empty nester syndrome and different struggles couples have, married, my husband and wife have, when the kids move out, because it is an adjustment for both parties. Because you get so used to your kids being around that things change, but that's okay. That's actually good. Like I mentioned earlier, we're proud of our kids. We're proud of what they're achieving. They're standing on their own 2 feet and they're doing their own 2 things. And I could be more proud of them. But to think that we've been able to raise them in this environment and this outdoors and off-roading and this crazy life that we've had, it's really fun and exciting. But
tons of great experiences
and memories,
and many more to come.
Absolutely,
many more to come.
But guys, just FYI, everything in this video that you've seen here, we've bought with our own money. There's been no sponsorships. Nope. This is all the gear that we've accumulated over the last 25 plus years of being married. Well, we've been married a long time, guys. So it's we've accumulated this over the last 25 years. So things are going to change. Life changes. And that's okay. So sometimes you have to to regroup and adjust to the different life. So it's seasons of life we go through. So guys, if you got any questions, if you found value in this content, like and subscribe, share, comment what you liked, what you want to see, what you like to see more of. Would you like to see more content like this, or would you rather see us out actually in the wood wheeling and doing overland off-roading thing with our buddies? So let us know.